watching. This is my official start to my low buy. For the last couple of months, I had a mission of finally putting together an inventory spreadsheet in Excel, and I did it, and I knew it had to be really comprehensive because at some point I was looking through all my little samples of skincare, knowing that there had to be eye cream in there somewhere, and there was, but I realized that I have no idea what I have, so I don't know how to use it, and there's even like hair care products in there, for instance, where I wouldn't reach for it automatically because it's not something that's currently part of my routine, but I would try it if I knew that it was there. So I put together a spreadsheet in Excel and I realized that I have a lot more stuff than I need. From there, I determined how much I think I should own versus what I actually own. And so I set goals for myself, and the way this low buy is going to work for me is that every empty counts as a point, no matter what type of product it is, no matter what size it is. And those points, once I empty things, are going to be only good in that category. So a concealer empty is a concealer point. However, each new item has a different point value, which is assigned depending on how out of control that category is. So different things are worth different numbers of points, but it has to be the right type of points, if that makes sense. So the easiest way to maybe understand this is I'm going to go through my inventory sheet, how many I currently have, what my goal is, and how I would go about trying to weed through my collection and reduce it down to something more manageable. I'm starting off all the way back in body care. And so the first body care subcategory I have is tanning. I have no desire to self-tan at all. I own 5 different types of self-tanners. All of them are deluxe sizes that were gifts as purchase, and I don't really want any of them because I neither want to spend the money nor the time trying to change my skin color. You do whatever you want. I'm just not interested. Then I have bath products. I try to take a bath at least once a week. It's a way to relax, and I have in this category bath salts, shower steamers, bath bombs, and I currently have 8 of them, and I'd like to be down to 4. So in order to get that way for my low buy, I would have to have 2 points to get a new bath item. So I have to finish 2 things in order to be able to buy 1 thing, and that way I'm going to reduce my inventory back down to my goal of 4. Then I have a category that is called body treatments. These are things like scrubs, shave oils, anything sort of product that is supposed to do something specific for your body and not necessarily part of my usual routine. In this category, my goal is to own 5 of those kinds of items. I currently have 21. So since that category is more out of control, I feel like it's going to be 5 points for 1 item, so I have to use 5 things from this category before I can buy 1. Then I have soap and body wash, and honestly, when I put this spreadsheet together, this wasn't quite as bad as I thought. I don't particularly care whether I'm using a bar of soap or a body wash, and most of what I have been gifts at some point, but my goal is to own no more than 4 of those items, and I currently have 17. So again, I'm going to try to use 5 of them before I'm allowed to buy 1. Body lotions is a little bit more out of control than I thought. I don't see a reason for me to own any more than 5 of those, and I currently have 23. So again, it's going to be 5 points in order for me to get a new body lotion. There are some things that are going to be in my spreadsheet that aren't part of my low buy, like for instance, my goal is to have 3 hand creams, and I have exactly 3 hand creams, so I don't feel like I need to include that in this in order to restrict myself since that is under control already, and I don't feel like I need to formalize that. So we're going to move on to the skincare, starting with makeup remover. My goal is to only own 2 makeup removers. I currently have 5. I don't know why, but in order to weed this down, I'm going to have to use 3 in order to buy 1. My cleansers sound pretty extreme, but most of these really are mini sample sizes, but I still really need to use them. And they're out of control, and I didn't know where any of them were because they were in various bags and drawers and not all in the same place. But I currently have 25. I don't see a reason for me to have more than 5, so I'm going to have 5 points for a cleanser. Even if all 5 of the ones that I use are minis, that's fine. And although at any point in time I could just choose not to buy something new, even if my low buy rules allow it at the time. Exfoliants take me absolutely forever to use, so I feel like I only need to have 2 of them, one that I'm using and one as a backup. But I currently have 8, so it's going to be 4 points for me to get a new exfoliant. For my masks, this includes masks in tubes and sheet masks. I feel like I only want to have 5 at a given point in time, and I currently have 20. So I have to use 4 before I can buy one type of mask, whether they're sheet masks or a tube mask, it doesn't really matter. I just want 5 total masks at a given point in time. The category that I felt was most out of control in my collection was the serums, and that's because I have so many minis. And I've been working on a couple of full sizes for a long time now, and these minis have just piled up. I don't see a reason for me to have any more than 4 serums, and I currently have 37. So I need to use 10 of these serums in order to get 1 new one. So wish me luck. It's going to be a while, especially since the two that I have open are both full size, and I am going to use both of those before I start on the minis. My daytime moisturizers really aren't that bad. My goal is to have 4 at any given point in time, and at some point I might start dropping these goals. But right now my goal is 4 daytime moisturizers. I currently have 5. So if I use 2 of those day moisturizers, I'll be allowed to buy 1, and then I'll actually be at my goal. So that would be pretty cool, and that shouldn't take quite so long as most of the other categories. Face sunscreens. The reason I put this into my spreadsheet is largely so I could track expiration date and know what I needed to use next. And for that, I really don't see a reason for me to own any more than 3 at any given point in time. And I currently have 14. And 2 of them are very recently expired, so I'm still going to use them. And in any case, I'm going to have to use 5 before I'm allowed to buy 1. But I might want to wait until I'm down to just a couple before I buy any at all, because I don't want them to just sit around and expire. The night moisturizers are more extreme than the day moisturizers. There are more moisturizers that I'm willing to use at night than day moisturizers that I feel comfortable wearing under makeup. So I only want really light moisturizers for the daytime, and most of my moisturizers are something I'd consider to be night creams. And I only want to own 4 of those again. I don't see a reason for me to have any more than that. I currently have 29, and most of those are samples, but not all of them. In either case, I'm going to need 8 points for a new night moisturizer. Eye creams are again not all that bad. My goal is to own 4 of them, and I have 6. So once I use 2, I'll let myself buy 1, and I'll weed down that way. And most of the ones I currently have are little samples, but those still take me usually a couple months to use up. So 2 for 1 for the eye creams. Hair care. Now this was the one that was a real pain to put on my inventory sheet because I don't know what all these hair care products do, and they have little tiny writing on these samples that I can't read, so I don't even know what they're for or what they're supposed to do. But I got it. So I have a few basic categories for that. The first one is hair color products. I don't usually color my hair. This is my natural hair color. But I do own some temporary hair color for when I feel like dyeing it something fun, like purple. And I have 7 of those types of products. I don't see a reason for me to own more than 2 because I don't do that very regularly, just sometimes. So I'm going to have to use up 4 of those hair color products before I'm allowed to buy 1. It turned out I own a lot more shampoo than I thought I did. I want no more than 5 shampoos at a given point in time, and I have 20. So it's going to be 4 points for a new shampoo. And conditioner is not quite as bad, so my goal is to own no more than 4 conditioners. I currently have 9, so it's going to be 3 points for a new conditioner. I don't go through hair masks all that quickly, so my goal is to only own 2 of them. I currently have 11, so it's going to be 6 points for a new hair mask. For all the other hair styling products, I just categorize them into things that I would put in my hair when my hair is wet, and things I would put in my hair when my hair is dry, because there's just way too many different things for me to track all of them, so just those 2 categories. So for the wet styling type products, my goal is to own no more than 4. I have 22. It's going to be 6 points for a wet hair styling product. I don't go through those quickly. My favorite way to wear my hair is just to let it do what it wants. So I don't use them all that often, and I need to work that down. For the dry styling products, I just want 4 of those as well, and I currently have 12, so it's going to be 3 points for a dry styling type product. Now we're into the makeup. So starting with the primers, my goal is to own no more than 3 primers. I feel like that's really all I need. I currently have 23. Most of them are minis, but I'm going to have 8 points for a new primer. So I have to use 8 of those in order to get a new one. The foundations, some of these are samples and they're not going to take me all that long to work out, but I currently have 10 of them and my goal is to only own 4. So it's going to be 3 points for a new foundation. Concealer, my goal is to own no more than 3. I might drop that later, but I currently have 7 of them, so it's going to be 3 points for a concealer. Setting powder, my goal is to only have 2. I currently have 4, so it's going to be 2 points for a setting powder. Setting spray, again, I don't see a reason for me to have any more than 2. I currently have 4, so it's going to be 2 points for a new setting spray. For brows, I currently have my goal set at 2, and I might end up dropping that to 0 because honestly, I don't usually put things in my brows. I kind of think of it as an extra step. For me personally, I don't feel like it adds anything to my makeup look, and I think of it as just kind of a waste of time. But I currently own 14 brow products. The overwhelming majority of these have been gifts with purchase. I have only personally purchased 1 of these, and the others have all been essentially free. And not really free because I did in fact buy something to get them. But in any case, it's going to be 7 points for a brow product, and ultimately I might not end up buying anything in this category. For eye primers, I don't think I need any more than 2. It takes forever to go through those, and I currently own 6. so it's going to be 3 points for a new eye primer. Cream and liquid eyeshadows, I do enjoy having those either as a base for a more colorful look or as a simple kind of one and done. So my goal is to have 5 of those. I currently have 18. So I'm going to have 4 points in order to get a new cream eyeshadow. For powder eyeshadows, I am aware that I don't own as many eyeshadows as most of the people on this platform. I currently own 134 pans of powder eyeshadow. I really think I'd be perfectly happy with 50. I feel like 50 eyeshadows would give me the variety that I want, and I currently have 20 different palettes. So I'd also like to reduce both the number of pans and the number of palettes. So for each pan of eyeshadow that I finish, because hitting pan doesn't remove it from my collection, it's going to be 1 point, and it's going to be 3 points for a new single eyeshadow. For the palettes, I would have to completely pan 5 palettes to buy one, which would take years if it ever happens at all. I have completely panned eyeshadow palettes before. I know I can do it, but it's going to take a long time. For eyeliners, my goal is to have 7. 5 didn't seem like quite enough variety, and 10 seemed like too many, so I settled on 7. I currently have 27, so it's going to be 4 points for a new eyeliner. The mascaras, I keep them all together in a box, and I think I need to separate them because they have to be breeding. I've personally purchased 3 of them, and I have 30. How did I get 30? I don't know. But in any case, my goal is to have 3, so it's going to be 10 points for a new mascara. We're going to go on to the cheek products. For cream bronzer, my goal is to just have 1. It takes a long time to go through those, and it goes bad relatively quickly, so I think 1 would be fine for me. And if I run out, I could just go to a powder bronzer. So my goal is to have 1, and I currently have 1, so that category is just fine. For powder bronzer, my goal is to own 2, and I currently have 4. So it's going to be 2 points in order for me to get a new powder bronzer. For cream contour, again, my goal is 1. It goes bad relatively quickly, and if I run out, I'll just use a powder instead. And I currently have 1, so that category is just fine too. For the powder contour, this is the only category where my goal is to own 2, and I only have 1. So I'm actually under my goal, and I could just buy a new one right now if I wanted to. For cream blush, my goal is 2. Yeah, they go bad faster than the powders, but I like having a couple different colors at least. So my goal is 2, I currently own 6, so it's going to be 3 points for a new cream blush. For powder blush, my goal is to own 3, and I currently have 10, so it's going to be 4 points for a powder blush. For cream highlighter, again, my goal is just going to be 1 because they go bad relatively quickly, and I can just use a powder if I don't have a cream, and I currently have 1, so we're good there too. Powder highlighter. It takes me forever to pan. I've only ever finished 1, and it was a deluxe size, and when I finished that 1 last year, for some reason I bought 7 more. So I currently have 14, even though my goal is 2. So it's going to be 7 points for a powder highlighter, and that's probably going to take me at least a decade. Now we're in the lip products. And for lip liners, I don't always wear a lip liner, but every once in a while I like to just put lip liner all over my whole lip and put a lip balm on top of it. And it's kind of a long wearing lip color. And so I really feel like I only need to have 2 lip liners to do that with. I currently have 3. So it's going to be 2 points for a lip liner. For lipsticks, my goal is to have 7. Again, 5 didn't seem like quite enough colors, and 10 seemed like too many. And so I settled on 7. I currently have 21. So it's going to be 3 points for a lipstick. For lip stains, my goal is to own 2, and I currently have 2, so that category is fine. For lip glosses, my goal is to just have 4 at a time. I have 13. It's going to be 4 points for a new lip gloss. For tinted lip balms, my goal is to have 2 of them. I have 7, so it's going to be 4 points for a tinted lip balm. I also sometimes make them, so whenever I finish a lipstick, I'll dig out what's left in there and then melt it down with lip balm to make my own tinted lip balm. So that category might actually grow without me actually buying anything because I'm frankening. And then the regular lip balms, most of these I've gotten for free, like as a promotion somewhere, like I got it at a conference, or my dentist used to give out lip balms every 6 months, so I got them from him. But my goal is to only have 5 lip balms. I have 14, so it's going to be 3 points for a lip balm, assuming I ever buy a new one and just don't keep getting them for free all the time. For nails, I only want to own 1 nail treatment at a time, and I have 1, so that category is fine. Base coats and top coats, I would like 2 of each, and I have 2 of each, so those are fine too. Nail polish, I feel like 12 colors would give me the variety that I want without having too many, and I currently have 20, so it's going to be 2 points for a new nail polish. For fragrance, I have 3 different body sprays. I don't see a reason for me to have more than 2, so it's going to be 2 points for a new body spray. For perfumes, I actually, believe it or not, do not own a single full-size perfume. I do, however, have 33 samples, and so I need to use 10 of those samples before I'm allowed to buy any perfume, and hopefully I'll be able to use 10 samples and find one that I like and buy that. We'll see how that goes. Through the magic of Excel, I added everything up, and so when I added up my goal items that I would like to actually own, it comes out to 220 beauty items, which sounds like a lot, but it's far more manageable than when you add up the number of things that I actually own, which comes to 749. So seeing those totals, I decided I should probably go on a formal low buy. I have thought of myself as being on a low buy for a long time, but I never had actual numbers to it, and now this way I do. And hopefully that'll help keep me on track and I can at least know whether or not that number is growing. I think I'm going to do check-ins on my low buy to see how that's working every 3 months. So right now it's May, the next one will be in August, and the one after that is in November. I'm not going to try lining this up with a calendar year, because if by November I have managed to reduce my total items by 50, so I'm down to 699, then I'll be allowed to buy an advent calendar, and that's going to be an extra incentive for myself. And one of the things that I know is really contributing to the numbers is the fact that I go for gifts with purchase all the time. And so the way I'm going to do this is each check-in I am allowed to buy things. So by only being allowed to make purchases a few times a year, I'm going to limit how many things I'm getting as a gift with purchase, and it's going to prevent me from buying too much in order to get the gifts with purchase, if that makes sense. There's also the advantage of this way I would be able to buy things in May, August, November, and February. So November, there's Black Friday sales, and February is my birthday month, which means that I get bonus points, and that doesn't violate my low buy, so I might as well take advantage of that. So there's how that's going to work. I hope it made sense, and I'll be back in 3 months to tell you what I've managed to finish, and we'll find out if I'm on track to win my advent calendar in November. Wish me luck, and I'll see you in a few months. Bye!